this morning. Good morning, everyone. I think that we have got things figured out. Sorry about last week. We posted to my main page, so unless you're friends with me on my main page, you didn't get to see our posts this morning. Good morning, Cheryl. Or last Tuesday morning, I should say. So we've not sure how we did that, but yeah, we didn't post it to the right page. I did try and share it later, but people were saying that they weren't able to still see it. So we thought we would do a redo this morning. Good morning, Dana. So we are going to redo the mask tutorial. So for those of you that seen it last week, I'm sorry. You have to venture on and watch me through another one. But maybe I'll say something new that I didn't say last week. Good morning, Retta and Kathy. You know, we have a lot of visitors from all over Canada that visit our Facebook page, and as well as our locals. So again, we want to give a shout out to you all for supporting us in the live videos on Tuesday mornings. Mornings with Myrna. My mouth doesn't want to work this morning. So once we're done the 3D mask tutorial, I had a request to show some mammoth flannel. So we will do a few of those. We don't have a lot in stock, but we do have a few. So morning, Myrna Johnson. We're just going to wait for a couple more to pop on. Again, we're going to do the 3D mask tutorial today again. You know, it's starting to feel like winter. I hate to say that word. We had the grandkids on the weekend, and we thought, well, we'd go hiking in Nordegg. So we drove out there, and we didn't even hit Nordegg, and we had found some snow. So, you know, it is that time of the year again to start thinking about Christmas and fall and Thanksgiving. We have a tremendous selection of fall fabrics as well as Christmas. So come on in and take a look around. You can find us online at countrystitches.ca and follow us, of course, on Facebook. Of course, you probably already are if you're following our live videos. We are also in store open Tuesdays to Saturdays, 10 to 4. And that seems to be working out well, and we are still limiting customers in the store. So if you come here and the door's handle is locked, but we're open, we just ask that you wait until we have some come out, and then you can come back in. So we're going to start with the mask tutorial. Excuse me, sorry. I swallowed my cereal wrong this morning, and it's kind of stuck in my throat. So, you need a 7.5 by 10.5 inch square. Okay, I'm doing this from memory today. I had notes last week, so we'll see how I do. So you need your good side of your fabric, and that's going to be what's facing people that you meet and greet. And then you need your liner. So I cut these out. 7.5 by 10.5. Then what you do is you're going to line this up, and you're going to have your top edge and your side edge lining it up and square on your mat. Because what we essentially want to do is we want to whack off these edges. So when we do that, morning Rosemary and Carol, we want to come 2 inches down and 2 inches across on each corner. Okay. You could fold this so that all your corners are in one spot, but I don't do that. It's all just preference, right? So we're just going to cut off those corners, and I turn mine because I like to cut that way. And again, 2 inches across and 2 inches down, line it up. You can line your 45-degree line on your ruler as well when you're doing this for a little bit more accuracy, but these are masks. You know, how it depends what you're doing and how accurate you want to be. I don't tend to worry about it too much because you don't really notice the difference anyway. And our last corner is going to get cut. So one thing for those of you that watched last week, I changed my thread so you can see the thread better, because last week I had black on black, and that's a little hard to see when I'm showing you the thread. So now you have your mask and it's ready to sew. So we would take this to the sewing machine and we would bring a stitch all the way around and stitch it with a little opening. So I've already pre-done that. So I've come all the way around and I've stopped and I've backed up on each of these all the way around, and then again backed up and open, leaving your open space here so that you can flip it out easily. Before you flip it, just trim off your little corners on each of those. That's just going to make it finish nicely. I do not pre-wash my mask material. You can if you want. But I don't. These are great masks because you can chain piece them as well. So they're a little quicker, easier, I find. I'm going to just get rid of those. If you wanted to do a liner, you can put a liner in here as well. And what you would essentially do is you would do it exactly the same before you stitched it. Sorry, we're going to go back. So at this point, you would, before you cut everything, you would have laid your liner on top, and then you would have cut your edges off of there, essentially. And that way, when you flipped it, that liner is in between those two pieces of fabric, okay? I'm not putting a liner in this one because I decided not to. So that was essentially what you're going to do there. Then you're going to flip your mask, turn it inside out. And of course, the bigger the pocket, the easier it is to flip. I like to just get it all in there, and then I just give it one of those. Just a shake. And then you can take a pen or anything that's not going to poke through your seam and just push out your corners. Once I've got those pushed out, I like to just take my fingers and just roll those seams, especially at the corners, just to make sure that there isn't any piece of that corner that's sitting in there. So I'll roll those, and you're just rolling the seam in between your fingers. And then we'll have to make sure that we close our opening here. And we're going to iron this before we sew it again. And you all know how to kind of make those match. Make them nice. Again, it is a mask, so, you know, it's not something that you have to spend a lot of time on. And if your liner matches somewhat your material, you'll be all right too. So we're just going to head over to the ironing board, Rita. And you're just going to give this a press. So I start on the open end and I just press around, get it nice and flat. You notice that I'm pressing and not ironing. So this is ironing and this is pressing. When you see me slide across my material, I'm kind of lifting my iron and then I'm pressing down, lifting, pressing. You never want to iron when you're quilting because you can distort your fabric. So that's all nice and flat. And then we will take that to the sewing machine, and I've done this part already, so we'll come back here. We're going to pretend, sorry Rita, that we've done that. And once you've done that, then you're just going to take a 1/4 inch. You're going to start here at the long edge, come forward, back stitch, come all the way back down, back stitch and off, and you're going to do that to both sides. So forward, back stitch, down, back stitch and off. Hopefully, can you see the white in there? I think you can. And that's going to be that next step. At this point, what we will do is we're going to make the 3D portion of the mask. So you want to have what's facing somebody that you're seeing and not your face. You want your face part pointed up and the pretty side pointed down. And when we did these, we had cut off these corners and we made 4 points in the middle of the mask. So what now essentially you're going to do is you're going to take your bottom and you'll fold it up so that your points are just at the point is where you're going to fold that up. So there's no guessing like a pleat mask. And then you would turn it and you will fold this one up as well at the point there. Now we're going to take this to the sewing machine for real this time. And we're going to go on the long end, and everything that we do with the mask, you do a back stitch and a forward. So again, we're going to zip along here, and we're going to back stitch and come down, back stitch and come off, and then we're going to do the other side. So you can see how this would be really easy to chain piece, because you would do 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then cut them all apart, turn them around and do the other ones. Yeah, they are very comfortable, Barbara. I just made a bunch for the kids because they live in the city, and if they have to go to Walmart or anything, they need to have them as well. And they fit the kids really well. The kids' masks, you would make 6.5 by 9, and you would cut out a 1 3/4 inch triangle. And I'll kind of, when we're done here, I'll go over how I fit the elastic for the kids so that you know, your masks are tight and they're holding onto their face instead of coming down. So we're going to sew our long edge on both sides. My needle is down, my foot is down. I'm going to start. Sometimes you need to have a little stiletto or something. My big machine doesn't mind it. My little machine is different than my big machine. So back stitch, and I'm going to push this on through. And all the way through the end. And then we're going to back stitch and come right off. Can you hand me my scissors, Laura, please? Thank you. And I just snip my threads right away. I do the same thing when I'm quilting. I snip my threads at the machine, and then when I iron, I snip all my threads that I see coming out of the seam that I'm ironing. So I just find that it saves a little bit of time in the end result. And then we're going to do the same to the other long side. Needle down, bring it a few stitches forward, back, and I'm doing these at a 1/4 inch. And back and off. You can just sit there, I'll be right back. So now you can see that we've gotten 2 of our long edges are sewn. So essentially you have like a bridge or a trough or whatever you want to equate that to. So at this point, I'm going to kind of jump from the mask that we're making. And I'm just going to show you that if you have a child, I just took the whole mask like this and I put it over their faces. And I kind of figured out where we needed to have the elastic. So then I took my elastic and I just tucked it in the end approximately here where it would go. And I put a clip here, and this probably would be easier if I was doing it on somebody. And then I, again, brought it up to their face, brought the elastic around their ear, and kind of worked it so that it's in the mask again, and kind of figured out where that elastic needed to be. And then that's where I cut my elastic for the kids. My oldest grandson needed 6 inches, and my youngest grandson only needed 4.5 inches. So there was definitely a difference, and it stayed on their faces a little better instead of sliding off their face. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the elastic in. Again, we have another point here on both sides, and we have points on the bottom flap on both sides. Now those are going to be your markers, and what you want to do is here you're going to bring this up so that it creates an upside down N. Well, okay, So there's your N there. And that's the path that you're going to follow when you stitch. We start mine here and come down to the pivot point, and then once I pivot, I like to stick my elastic in at that point. So we'll show you that. So I'm going to take this up to the machine here. Oh, sorry, I got to change my feet. I find that my 1/4 inch doesn't work as well as my straight when I'm doing this. And you're just going to really make sure that that point is even with the edge of your mask there. And it's making a nice N. So I'm going to bring it to the machine, holding it. These get easier every time you do them. They can be a little bit tricky to begin with. And I'm just going to, see, because mine just slid. There we go. I'm just going to line it up there. My other machine, I have more room. Okay, let's do that. And you're going to put your needle down, your foot down, your thread out of the way. And we're going to go forward 3 or 4 stitches, back a couple, come all the way down. You want to make sure that your needle is still here on this point here when you stop, because you're going to make the pleat the other way. And I know it's tough to see, but once you do it, you'll really get it. And I'll show you better once we get this on here. So I've pivoted, and now I will insert my elastic for you. So I take my elastic, a stiletto or a seam ripper, and I just tuck that right up into this triangle, that pocket that has been made, until it's flat, not curved. Now I like to come over my elastic here and back and then to the corner. So we're going to do that now. So I'm over my elastic, I'm going to back it up, come back up to my corner and pivot. I like to do it again at this point. I've heard a lot of people that the elastics comes out of their masks. So that's just something that I like to do, especially with kids' masks. Kids wear and tear on it. And I might go over it 2 or 3 times. It's just a preference. At this point, I lift my foot. I make sure there's no twists in my elastic. I bring it to the front, tuck it in here. And then I hold that, and I'm going to bring this down to make my right-sided N, letter N. Can you see that there? And now I'm going to come down. I know my elastic is in. And if I bring this back, you'll see that it's tucked in there. I might want it tucked a little bit further in. That's the nice thing about the bottom side, is that you can see where it's sitting. I'm going to bring my foot down, and I'm going to come again across my elastic, back and over it again, and making sure that you're on your mask before you pivot, and coming back up. Sometimes you might need to give this elastic a little bit of a tug just to get it through your machine. Back over your elastic. And then you want to catch that piece that you folded over. And I'll show you that again. It's a little hard to see when you're sewing, so I'll show you that when we get this mask out. And backing up and coming off. So if I lay this down here for you, you will see that my path that I took, I started here, back, I went down, made sure I was still on this piece here, pivoted over my elastic, back to the corner. over my elastic, back stitched, down, back stitched to the corner, up, back stitched to the corner, and down. Okay, sometimes when you do these are not going to match perfectly. They'll be kind of kitty wonkus like that, and that's okay. So now we're going to do the other side here for you. And this one will be a little bit quicker because I'm not going to be talking as much. Maybe. Pivot. Stick in that elastic. Just pulled it out. Back over your elastic, back up to your corner. Pivot. Over your elastic, back over your elastic, back up, come down. And then you're going to make your next N. And you can tuck in your elastic here. Following it down to the corner, back over your elastic. Making sure you're on the material that's folded. Pivot. And pivot. Cut your threads. And this is your, whoop, I missed a thread, 3D mask. If you tuck it up under your glasses, you will not get a fog through these ones, or at least I don't. And they seem to stick a little bit away from your mouth, so you're not breathing it in. I've made my elastic a little bit too tight for myself, but in the end, this is a good one. I did see another tutorial on one this morning on my Facebook feed where they put little pleats this way, so it opens up a little bit more and sticks away from your face, so that's another option for you. So that's the 3D mask tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to go over to the table and we're going to show you some mammoth flannel. So mammoth flannels are a high quality woven flannel, and that means that you're going to see the pattern on both sides of the fabric. It will show the design. These are from Robert Kaufman, and they're great for cozy quilts or winter shirts for fall. Winter shirts for fall. Look at me go. Fall shirts. So I'm just going to open this one up so you can see that the fabric is literally on both sides, and it's a nice quality, high quality woven fabric. This mammoth flannel retails for $21.50, I believe it is, a meter. And then we have the white and black. And I'm just going to open them up just so that you can see that there really isn't too much of a difference in your coloring front and back, okay? So these flannels that we have in stock range again from $18 to $21.50, just depending on how new the design is. This one's kind of an army green with gray. And we have the buffalo check one, I guess you could call it. Very nice flannels. Very pretty. Again, these are by Robert Kaufman. We don't have a whole bunch. We're starting to get a little bit more. We like to keep them in stock, but we don't usually have, like, you know, 30 bolts or anything. So this is the ones that we have. So that's the Mammoth flannels and your 3D masks. Next week's Mornings with Myrna will be a surprise because I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. So it'll be a surprise for us both. Oh, before I go, I wanted to show you the new batiks. Sorry. We just got these in on Friday. And I just thought they're so pretty. So these go retail for $21. There's not a lot on the bolts. They were a small bolt, but it's got the dragonflies. And it's got the dots. So this one has got like some little bit of greens and some purples, kind of some rainbowy dragonflies, lots of purples in the background and the blacks. And it retails for $21. And then we have the teal one. Slide down again. Very pretty again. The name of the first, the very first one, Dana, I'll go back to it. This one's number, if you're wanting to, I'll go back down. Sorry, peoples. So this red one that I have up on the table that I'm just folding up right now is, the number of it is 18957-3, and it's a Mammoth Flannel Platinum. And Dana, if you're interested in these and can't find them online, just give us a call and I can help you out over the phone. And then the last one that was red is this one, and it is 14898-187 is that one. So again, thank you for joining us on Mornings with Myrna this week. And again, we'll either post once we figure out what we're doing, or it will be a surprise come Tuesday morning. I'm hoping that we've got some patterns in that we can kind of do a tutorial on the pattern. That's a paper piecing one, but I don't know if they'll be in or not. So we will have a surprise next week. I did last week had said to please like, comment, and share on our Facebook page, and that we would do a draw for a $50 gift certificate to use in store or online, and to share in the comments what you've been working on for the last 4 or 5 months. So your quote of the day: just because something doesn't do what you want it to do or what you planned it to do doesn't mean that it is useless. Somebody will always love it. So that quote is by Thomas Edison. And that's Mornings with Myrna out.